Hello everyone, this quick video is going to introduce you to Module 3. So Module 3 will be the first module where you will finish and turn in an essay. This will be our first essay assignment. It's called the critical thinking essay or the critical analysis essay, and you're going to use the same article from the textbook that you used in the previous module when you wrote your outline for this essay. So the first step is to go back to your outline from Module 2 and look to see if I have graded it. If you have a score in there, that means that I have left you feedback, and you want to look at that feedback, that general comment on your outline to make sure that what you've chosen is appropriate for this essay and will work for it. I make sure that I look at those outlines as quickly as possible during the next unit so that you get that feedback in a timely manner, and make sure that everybody's on the right track, that you've chosen something that will work for this essay, and that your idea is something that will work for this essay. So then the next step, of course, is to work on the essay itself. Now you have a whole week to finish this module, and the only thing in the module that is graded is the critical thinking essay itself. Some of this stuff in the module is stuff that you have seen before. So I have the critical thinking essay criteria again. I also have some stuff in here that will help you. It's just some resources to help you write. A couple of things that will be new. I have some mini grammar lessons that you'll see periodically for the rest of the semester. And these are entirely optional, but they're just information pages about things that students often have issues with. So fragments and run-on sentences are something that I point out a lot in student writing. And so if you ever have a comment on one of your writing assignments, one of your essays that points out a specific grammar problem, you can look it up in the textbook if you want to, but sometimes students get a little overwhelmed with that. And so I like to put these little mini lessons on here, which means that you can go in here and, okay, I have a problem with this. I'm going to look over this information. I try to provide a video as well as the page numbers in the textbook to help you out. One of the challenges with an online class is that you have to teach yourself a lot of this stuff, and teaching yourself how to write is pretty difficult. And so that's why in the feedback, I'm expecting you to look up how to correct these things. I'm not going to correct them for you. And so just keep that in mind as you are looking at the feedback that you get from your writing assignments. So the other things in this module to help you out, you can see that we have the writing a critical response essay page, and that includes a video that I've made where I just kind of go over step by step how to write the essay. It goes over an example that I've used, and so you can see that example, what it looks like as you start to draft your essay. You may want to look back and see what the example looks like. I also have a works cited entry for you, and so if you you're more than welcome to just copy and paste it into your essay. You obviously have to change the name of the author, the name of the title of your work. So this would be the title of your article, and then the page numbers. One of the important things to remember is that you are going to use a works cited entry from the textbook. You are not going to cite where the original article came from because you used the version of the article that is in the textbook. So keep that in mind. This is what I expect your works cited entry to look like. I've already done it for you. The rest of the documentation requirements for the essay are just page numbers when you use a quote or a paraphrase or something like that. That's all I need is a page number. You don't need to keep putting his name in parentheses if you don't want to. Because the entire essay is about one source, that means that the documentation requirements aren't as rigorous because you are only using the one source. We should know that you have that source because that is like the first sentence of the essay, and the rest of it is just follows along with it. So keep in mind the criteria for the assignment. To just go over that again very briefly. You are picking an article out of the textbook. Make sure that it is one from the practical argument textbook. That is one of the reasons why I'm having you turn in that outline. I do have some students who pick something that is not appropriate for the assignment. So the essay itself is 1.5 to 2 pages. I'm looking for 3 to 5 paragraphs. The first sentence of your essay needs to tell me the author and the title of the article that you chose. The rest of the introduction is going to just give us an overview of the author's main argument and then provide the thesis. The thesis is always the last sentence of the introduction paragraph. The reason being, the introduction gives us a broad idea that narrows down to a specific idea. That focus has to be the last sentence before we get the rest of the body. And so that's important to remember, that thesis is the last sentence. The thesis will give us your overall idea of what the author's main, your response basically to the author's main argument. So what did you think of their argument? What did you think of how they structured their argument? That kind of thing. Remember, again, this essay is not a summary. I'm not looking for you to just tell me what the author covered in the article, and I'm not looking for you to comment on the topic that the author used for the article. Instead, I am looking for you to analyze the author's argument strategy, which means that you are going to break down how the author structured their argument and explain why they did that and whether or not it was effective. So be thinking about how to talk about how an argument is effective or ineffective as an author uses something. So maybe they cover a opposing viewpoint and maybe they don't. Maybe you find that the covering of an opposing viewpoint is a more effective strategy, and so you would write about that. You can use quotations if you want to. It's not required for this assignment, but I do encourage you to start using quotes. They will all be from the same source, though. You are not using any outside sources. So you have your quotations, any quotes or paraphrases. Again, you'll put the page number from the textbook in parentheses at the end of that sentence. Brief conclusion, it's 1.5 to 2 pages long. You can use some first person if you want, because it is your own response. However, I do discourage the use of second person pronouns where you talk about the reader as part of the essay. So once you're done, once you have written out a good version of your essay, you want to make sure that you leave yourself time to edit it. You can, if you want to, use the online writing lab, and the online writing lab we use through the BrainFuse online tutoring button right here, and you can go either through the academic support page, you can click on it right here, or you can email directly to our writing lab coordinator. It's up to you. If you do go through the BrainFuse online tutoring, make sure that you are clicking on the Writing Center help button and the writing lab, I guess they call it writing lab button, and then click on submit paper and go through there. Make sure that you leave at least 2 business days to respond. So since everything's due on a Sunday, you would have to have your essay done and submitted on Wednesday to the online writing lab to get a response in time to to be able to make changes and turn your essay in. So this is the spot where you actually turn the essay in. You can see the grading rubric is down here. This is useful for making sure that you have met the requirements for the assignment. It's a good idea to read through and kind of gauge, self-edit your essay to make sure that you're falling within the excellent and proficient category. If you plan on, or if you would like to get an A on your essay, you want to make sure that you're scoring up here. And then these are just formatting reminders, and then they're linked to the criteria sheet again, so that you make sure that you have everything in your essay that you need to get a passing grade. So that is all you're doing in this module, is just writing the essay and turning it in. It is our first essay assignment, so it's sometimes a little bit overwhelming for students. So if you need anything, you can always reach out to me for help. And then keep in mind that we won't have there's no rough draft to this one, there's no peer editing to this one. So if you need feedback from someone, make sure that you're asking a friend to look over your essay. You can email me a copy if you want to, but there's a lot of ways that you can do your own self-editing. That's fine, but just don't turn in a copy of your essay that you have never read, that nobody has looked at. Don't just type it up and put it in there and expect to get a good grade on it. So keep in mind that I do expect you to be editing your work as part of the writing process. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. Otherwise, I hope you have a great week.